Right now, the world watches as Ukraine's capital city remains under fire. Day 2 of the Russian invasion is underway. Here's just a fraction of the damage being seen in Kyiv. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. I'm Eric Connert.
And I'm Neda Irampour. Yeah, tough images to see. A United Nations Security Council vote on a resolution condemning Russia is now officially on the list on a UN schedule that's met for today.
CBS's Bradley Blackburn joining us live from UN headquarters in New York now with the very latest. Good morning, Bradley.
Eric, Neda, good morning. The Ukrainian government is now calling on its own citizens to defend Kyiv from intruders. The attack on Kyiv is unprecedented. They haven't seen anything like this since Nazi Germany invaded in 1941. And the Ukrainian president believes the clear goal here is regime change, and he thinks that he is the #1 target. Russian forces appear to be converging on Kyiv. Air raid sirens sounded in the Ukrainian capital this morning, followed by reports of explosions across the city. Residents were told to take shelter as world leaders braced for Kyiv to fall.
This is the opening salvo of a massive invasion, and we see this continuing and threatening Kyiv and threatening other major cities in Ukraine.
While it's difficult to verify casualty numbers, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said 137 Ukrainians were killed during the first day of the invasion, and he insists civilians are being targeted. Russian leader Vladimir Putin pressed ahead with the offensive despite widespread condemnation and growing economic sanctions. Diplomats called for an immediate end to the hostilities.
I repeat my appeal from last night to President Putin. Stop the military operation. Bring the troops back to Russia.
President Biden blamed Russia for launching what he called a war without cause.
Putin is the aggressor. Putin chose this war, and now he and his country will bear the consequences.
The White House says 80% of Russia's banking assets are now subject to sanctions. And here at the United Nations, the Security Council will take up that resolution today condemning Russia for the attack, but it is unlikely to pass, of course, because Russia has veto power. As for that $20 million earmarked by the United Nations, most of those funds are going to go to eastern Ukraine, to those territories that are controlled by rebels. That is an area where civilians have been particularly hard hit. It'll go to help provide shelter, food, other basic necessities. And Neda, Eric, you can only imagine that that need is going to continue to grow.
So many families here in San Diego, Bradley, with family and friends living in Ukraine. I mean, they're concerned for everyone's well-being. You know, any update on any help that's going towards those people in Ukraine, or are they able still to get out of that country?
It is a struggle. You know, there are reports yesterday, certainly, of people that were trying to take to the roads, to the trains to get out of the country. It is apparently quieter there today as people just try and take shelter as Russian forces get closer and closer. EU countries are preparing for a flux of migrants, and we are seeing that at border crossings. But the trouble, of course, Neda and Eric, is getting to the border in the first place.
Right. Taking shelter now. Okay, let's hope they have all the necessities and that they stay safe, Bradley. Thank you very much for that.
It's awful. You have to act, guys. You next. I mean, maybe not America, but Poland, other countries of Europe need to act immediately. It's not normal. Those people stand 7 hours with a baby on a border.
Yeah, you got to feel for so many of these families, their kids. I mean, they're trying to do what they can to protect each other. Residents are racing to safety. We just heard Bradley explain that too. And look at the conditions they're in right now. Some women and children are crossing the border, able to get into Poland, and they're the lucky ones. Meanwhile, take a look at this, though. Wow. You saw that subway turned into a bomb shelter. Ukraine has temporarily banned males between the ages of 18 and 60 from leaving the country. Here at home, Ukrainian Americans and their supporters are coming together. They're calling for peace in their mother country.
Dozens came together here at the site of a future Ukrainian Catholic church in Santee yesterday evening, showing their support for the people of Ukraine through the power of prayer. And among them,
I was asking my teachers to leave class every 30 minutes to call relatives because I was like super worried for them.
My prayer and my thoughts, they go to the family and all people of Ukraine.
So that was Ukrainian American Alexandra Toma, who stood with her son and her mother, who is now visiting from Ukraine. That's 3 generations, each trying to process the horrors of this tragic war. Candlelight vigil to show support for Ukraine has been planned for this evening. That will be at the House of Ukraine in Balboa Park. That vigil is set to get underway at 7 p.m. This is having a big impact on the markets as well. It has been going up and down. We're going to have a check on that here also in a moment. Stocks rebounding Thursday after new economic sanctions were imposed. Taking a look here, the Dow ultimately closed 92 points higher than it did yesterday. The Nasdaq rallied 436 and the S&P 500 gained 63. Coming up here at 6:30, a live check of the market at the opening bell, plus more on the economic fallout globally from this new war. For now, we'll send it over to Netta.
And now new this morning, we are getting a new look at finances as we stay amped up over those high SDG&E bills. Now, their parent company of SDG&E released their earnings for 2021, and it comes as we keep pressing for answers. CBS 8's Dana Marie McNichol live outside SDG&E headquarters with what we are learning. And Dana Marie, you just got those numbers 4 o'clock this morning, so what did you find out? Good morning to you.
Good morning, Netta and Eric. Well, that parent company, Sempra, released that report sharing that their earnings for 2021 equaled $1.25 billion. But we also found is that most of that earnings was made in the fourth quarter of 2021, $604 million. So, of course, we had questions for VP Scott Kreider of Customer Services and External Affairs about why he says these rate hikes are so high and what they're doing about it.
We're talking to legislators and regulators about the need for comprehensive electric rate reform. The way that we're pricing electricity today is not going to be really in line with where we need to go as a region as we start to see more electric vehicles, less natural gas use in the home, and more electricity usage. We really need to modernize our rates here in the state of California to make sure that we're maintaining affordability while at the same time continuing to invest in the grid to make sure it's reliable and ultimately clean.
Now, according to Kreider, there are a couple of key drivers that led to rate hikes here in San Diego. The price of natural gas has risen globally about 25% higher than January of last year. He says couple that with the coldest December that San Diego had experienced in 5 to 10 years, customers are using more natural gas to heat their homes, leading to higher than normal bills this year. Another point Kreider made was that the price of clean energy is expensive. He says the company is balancing affordability with the need to really have a radical transformation of their electric grid. Now, the report released this morning shared Sempra is heavily focused on clean energy and climate resiliency, hoping to have net zero emissions by 2050. Now, while Kreider does acknowledge SDG&E has always said that, yes, their rates are high, he says exchange for that, customers know they're going to get a safe system, a reliable system, and also one that is increasingly clean. Now, we're going to take a look at the numbers one more time released today. Sempra's fourth quarter of 2021 released $204 million in earnings compared to $414 million in the fourth quarter of 2020. Again, a total earning of $1.25 billion at a time when so many San Diegans are struggling to pay their higher than normal bill. Now, you can watch that full interview with Scott Kreider, that VP of External Affairs and Customer Service with SDG&E, as well as that report on CBS8.com. You can read it for yourself. Of course, those numbers are just coming in this morning of what their financials look like for them. Live in Kearny Mesa, I'm Dana Marie McNichol. I'll send it back to you.
Dana Marie, thank you. A lot of folks turning on those heaters here, Netta. And we're turning on the computer screen. There it is. By the way, on this live cam, is that some duct tape that we have to go back up there? Do I need to crawl up there and patch that?
You may need to, just like you do everything else, Eric. Yes.
You know,
I can't tell what that is. This is like where the observatory is.
Yeah, exactly. It's a total dad move to use duct tape up there to try to fix it.
I mean, they got to store them. The duct tape doesn't last through everything.
Duct tape solves everything.
But look, that's ice right there, a little icicle forming off of whatever that is up there. I also want to show you this view because there's still some snow. This is Laguna by the observatory where they're patching things up apparently. Looking at clear and chilly start to the day. That snow still sticking around this morning. This afternoon you will notice a little bit of a warm up. We're on our way upward. Santa Ana winds will begin tonight throughout the day tomorrow, and then high pressure comes in and our temperatures are going to build next week. Get ready for 80-degree weather. That's on its way for San Diego. For now, that is not the case. It is very cold. 27 in Ramona, now 32 degrees in Poway. You moved up 1 degree. You're still at 35 in El Cajon. Downtown San Diego, 39. Same with Chula Vista and Oceanside. So upper 30s, low 40s at the coast. Inland, you're right around that freezing mark for many locations. Some of you are 1 to 2 degrees warmer. The coast, though, you are slightly colder than this time yesterday. We have that frost advisory through 8 o'clock this morning. It's mainly for the inland valleys, as you see, but also for the east side of our mountains across the deserts. Here's where our temperatures are headed, though. After the chill of the morning, you can expect the low 60s, sunny skies for today. So very similar to yesterday. In fact, 1 to 2 degrees warmer, 64 in Escondido and Vista. We're still slightly below average by 1 or 2 degrees. So we'll be moving up. I'll show you that here because the weekend, I know a lot of you have your sights set for that. Here's what you can expect for Saturday. Upper 60s, Sunday getting closer to 70, and then on Monday, 71 degrees. And Tuesday of next week, though, will be the hottest day that we're going to experience as this high pressure takes over. Look at the inland forecast for the weekend. Saturday, 73, Sunday, 76, and then Monday, 79 with a lot of sunshine. Eric. Oh, let me get you a quick check of traffic. And I do mean quick. It's going to be really smooth if you're headed out at all right now because there's no incident. So we don't have any crashes to tell you about. Look at the map and we don't see any slowdowns. Looking like green across all of our major freeways.